She lost her way, although she stays, she's never yours. She doesn't breathe, she doesn't leave when she's with you. She scratches red and cuts too deep, there's nothing left to do. The world inside she sees it's all in black, trapped inside a ball. The world inside she sees it's always gray, trapped inside a ball. The world inside where light never comes in, trapped inside a ball. Distant again, trying to get closer to you. You always go back to the place of black and blue.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Come on in, take a seat, grab a drink, and let's enjoy the next hour together. I'm Cassidy The Cardslinger here on My Psychic Connection, and I'm so excited to be here with everybody. We're going to do readings. I'm going to sling some cards for you all tonight, and if this is your first time joining and you don't know what to expect, let me fill you in. So over the next hour, I will be offering readings. My weapon of choice is certainly using cards. I use playing cards, Lenormand cards, tarot cards, oracle cards. That's, I think, all I've got on my table for the most part here tonight. But I love me some good decks of cards, and as my name, the Card Slinger, suggests, it's sort of a framework that I like to use to play around in for my readings. So come on in, guys. I'm very excited. We are in the, well, depending on where you're at in the world, we're in the very final hours here of, I was going to say of the year, not quite, of November. We are heading into December, and some of you, depending on where you're watching from, might be in December 1st. So this is a very special time of year. Lots of transitions. We find a lot of things shifting. We feel a lot of us very busy, very pulled into different directions, but nevertheless, I'm thrilled to be here with everybody tonight. How this works is, if you're interested in getting a reading from me tonight, you can go ahead and ask your specific question in the chat. So wherever you're listening to me, if there's not a chat box around, head on over to YouTube, type in My Psychic Connection, and you'll find a logo with a blue tree on it. Click on that, you'll see this live video, and you can type in your question. What I need from you is a specific question, and if you can give me a little bit of context, it's remarkably helpful for me to dive right into your question immediately. So I've only got 2 minutes for those free readings. If you are interested in something a bit longer, I can certainly do that for you. The donation link will be floating around here in the chat box as well. All of the donations jump the line, and the mega reading jumps even the donation line. So if you're interested in having a bit more of an in-depth reading, if you've got multiple questions, if you've got follow-up questions, things like that, check out our donation options. And guys, we are streaming on over 190 different platforms. So do please be patient as I am working through everyone's questions here tonight, and we will get to everybody that we possibly can. And guys, there are a few things that I will say are my no, I should always call it my no-fly zone, but I should call it my no-sling zone. I will not be slinging cards for the following topics. No legal questions, no medical questions, anything related to physical health. So that includes pregnancy, that includes birth predictions, and that includes death predictions. Those are off the table tonight. I also will not be performing general readings, so anything to the tune of what's coming up, can I have a card? There is a very short exception to those particular to that particular caveat, but those will be with the games that we have going on here tonight. And I'm also not a psychic medium, so if you're interested in connecting with your loved ones over on the other side, we've got shows every night, Monday through Wednesday, multiple different shows with some incredibly talented psychic mediums, so definitely check those out. You can also find us over at www.mypsychicconnection.com, and you can get a private, in-depth, one-on-one reading, and you can find a medium of your choice there as well. So what else do I want to say? I'm excited. We've talked that we need a specific question. We've talked that I need context. Another thing on the context note, if you're asking me about someone, a particular person, let me know who they are to you, because it does show up differently in the cards if it's a love interest versus a boss and love interest, or a friend. And it can just, like I said, with those 2-minute readings, as the show goes on, 2 minutes seems to shrink in its duration, if that is at all possible. So the more information you can provide when you ask the question, it's super helpful for me to tune in quickly for you. So I am really excited, guys. I am ready to take my first question when the lovely folks in the back can cue that up for me. And I think I'm actually going to go back to the deck I was shuffling here. So we have the lovely Audrey. Hi, Audrey. Audrey says, hi, Cassidy. Let's set some emojis. Will I have any profound delays regarding my application for fostering? Like, will I pass the background check and all of these things? It's really starting to move forward. Okay, will I have any profound delays regarding my application for fostering? Like, will I pass the background check and all of these things? So let's take a look at how we see the process of applying for fostering will move forward for you. Let's take a look for you, my dear. There we are. Okay, so the first thing that I'm seeing immediately here is that this process is, I will say, largely out of your hands in terms of how it can progress. I've got 3 cards on my table here that are really slowing me down. I know you've said it seems like things are finally starting to move forward, which I agree with, but I also feel that they'll be moving forward quite slowly. The first card I have down here is Temperance in reverse. So immediately off the bat, I feel that you're going to be contacted for additional information. There's some piece of the application that is either missing or not complete to exactly what they're looking for. I'm not seeing it problematic in terms of there being something wrong with you or there being something with the background side of things. It just feels as though there's a section missing or it lacks the detail that it needs for that application. The next card I have down here is the 8 of Pentacles in reverse, followed by the Hangman in reverse. And like I said, all of these cards, this energy is really slowing me down, and it's also saying there's very little, unfortunately, that you can do to help move this process forward more quickly. But it just seems to be the nature of the office and the process that they go through to complete this whole process. So that is what I am seeing for you there, my dear, and I hope that that was helpful. Thank you very much for your question, and good luck with that. I'm excited for you. So guys, we do have a couple of other games going on here tonight, and one of them is the emoji game, and it is going to start right now. Whoever sends the most emojis throughout the show will win a very special reading. And like I said earlier, if you're interested in my caveat to a general read, that is the only time that I will sling some cards for a general situation. You can also ask a question if you win that as well. So you can go ahead and start now. Whoever sends the most emojis throughout the show will win the special reading for the emoji contest. I also will be playing the yes/no game coming up, guys. So do maybe have in your minds a couple of questions you would like to ask in the yes/no space, and that'll be coming up here shortly as well. Give these cards a good shuffle, and I'll take my next question, please. This is for Love. Hi, Love. Love says, hi, Cassidy. Will my guides help me with the new modalities I want to create? Any advice you can see that may help? Thank you. So will your guides help you with the new modalities you want to create? That is not the deck for this. This is the deck for this. All right, let's take a look if you can count on your guides for these new modalities you're looking to create. Oh, yes. Okay. 100%. 100% I feel that you will be supported when you are on the right track and you are bringing things forward in an aligned and creative way that is, I almost want to say, accurate or correct, if that makes sense to you. The central card I have down here is a card of integration. So it feels like what you are bringing forward will be supported when you're on the right path. But what I really like here, and what I can see you can counting on your guides for, I have this card of politics, and he's got this little mask going on here, and I have the Creator in reverse. So also, I will say the way that I see them showing up for you is manifesting as resistance when you're going the wrong way, when you're trying to, I would say, blend something that isn't a great blend, or you're creating something that isn't perhaps the best that you can bring forward. So while I absolutely see here on the integration side that the creative aspect, the aligned intuitive faculties will be very well, I will say, charged and brought forward using, the help of your guides at that time that you're going ahead to do these different modalities. But you'll also find that you'll hit roadblocks, and that's really where you can count on them to keep you on the right course. So that is, I'm excited for you there, my dear. That's really what I'm seeing for you there. And I do hope that was helpful. And good luck to you as you explore that new space. That is quite exciting. So guys, I'm having a blast here already. I've already got a couple of different decks out. I have got even here. And you know what? If you happened to see last night, Energy was doing Psychic Squirrel's show, and she was doing a great a great rundown of the tarot. And Love says, yes, makes sense. Awesome. Thank you. Excellent. Thank you so much for that feedback. And I'm glad that makes sense. I loved it. I loved watching her break down the cards because a lot of us on this channel do use cards, and I don't know how many people are familiar with them. So tonight I have brought out here, this is my Christmas tarot deck. It is my winter weight, and it is all red and green and snowy Christmas theme. And because we are just about into December, I feel like I'm finally safe to bring this deck out. So I'm going to give this one a nice shuffle here. And I can see these emojis coming in, guys. The other thing, please do share this out. Share me far and wide. Send me to those friends that you think could use a reading. We are doing, like I said, tonight, free readings. So you don't need to even it doesn't cost you anything to share us out. So do share us, do like, do subscribe to our channel. And we've got a ton of, we're just talking before the show, we have got a ton of YouTube only content, and what is coming forward is going to just be even more. And it's definitely worth your time to check out our channel. So make sure you're subscribed to My Psychic Connection on YouTube with the little blue tree logo. All right, guys, I'm ready to take my next question here, please. This is for the lovely Gemma. Gemma says, Adam and I had a big fight this week. We are fine now, but one thing I brought up is that he doesn't call me his girlfriend, but says he looks me to death. Perhaps loves me to death. You say, does he see me as a girlfriend or just casual? All right, my dear, so let's take a look at what I can see there from the fallout of the disagreement that you had and how he's feeling about you. Is it just a term thing, or is there something there we need to be concerned about? All right. Cool. So I don't see any problems here initially with, I would say, his feeling side of things. I don't, and she says, yes, meant love. For me, I am just getting a ton of resistance. And it was funny that I brought that up before I even had my cards down here. With the 9 of Wands and the 4 of Cups, there is a resistance in his mind to that term that is not related to his heart space and how he actually feels about you. It feels like if you were him and you were speaking how you felt about yourself, you would call you his girlfriend. But because he's him and not like, I hope that's making sense. But what I'm really seeing here is that what it means for you to be his girlfriend, that is how he sees you. He's just not into that term. It hits a wound. It hits a mark. There's something about using that name or that designation that bothers him. But I do see that the right feelings are there, and he is in this for the long term with you, my dear. So that is what I have got for you there. And thank you so much for your question. I hope that was helpful. And it is very interesting. This is one of the real highlights that you can get, or I would say strong points about getting a reading tonight or getting a reading from any of us here. Anytime you go to an advisor that is trustworthy and you can get your questions answered. She says, he told me not to overthink it and enjoy it. So, and I mean, in that case, and to think about as well, just generally speaking, like what sort of pains do we create for ourselves because other people aren't showing up in a way we want them to, even though deep down we're actually on the same page. And Gemma says, thank you. You are very welcome, my dear. So, I mean, this is a very interesting example to think about. You know, what role do you play in your own unhappiness? Because is there a problem there? Is there a problem with the communication, the words that we're using? Because a lot of times, you know, we may have a hard time expressing ourselves, or someone we're with is having a hard time expressing how they're truly feeling. And that's why I'll just loop back into one of the great things about getting a reading is you can get a objective third-party look at a situation where you can see, you know, all right, the feelings are here, but the words maybe are not. So another reason to get a reading, folks. Readings are wonderful. And guys, that emoji contest is still going in full force, and it is a beautiful, fierce competition here going on in the comment section. Do keep sending those emojis, and we will have one lucky winner here later this evening. All right, which deck do I want to use? This one's nice and warm in my hand. I'll take my next question, please. All right, this is for Etherian Spark. All right, Etherian says, hey, Cassidy, my husband and I didn't have a lot of money when we got married, so I bought a cheap ring. Will my husband ever buy me a real diamond? Thank you. All right, so let's take a look at that question there. Will your husband ever buy you a real diamond ring? Let's take a look at that. All right. Well, interesting stuff. I actually am getting a yes here, but to a caveat of like, does he know that it's important to you? Is this something you've brought up? Because I have the Page of Swords here initially, which despite whatever efforts you'd laid forth to, tell him that this is something that's important to you, that Page of Swords is either like perhaps you've dropped hints, or even if you've said it explicitly to him, it's not particularly explicit how important this is for you. So the next card I have down here is Judgment. And it's like, if he knew that this was something that you really wanted, I do feel like he would then have the Knight of Wands go ahead and make that happen. But at the moment, it's like he's not putting enough weight on the idea of doing this to really make a change. So yes, I can see him actually getting you the ring, should you choose to let him know just how important this is to you. The other thing here I've got is the Two of Pentacles. So it feels like there's either some other financial thing that you might be wanting to do with your money, where it looks like it could be in direct competition. So it's like, oh, we do the ring or we get the insert other thing here. But make sure you're communicating if it is really important to you, because I do see that he would follow through for you. So, my dear, that is what I have for you. A great question. Thank you so much, and I do hope that that was helpful. So, guys, if you are just joining in, come on in and do ask a question. I am taking specific questions, and if you ask a specific question in the chat, you will be immediately put on the list for a free 2-minute reading. And if you're interested in jumping the line and getting a more in-depth reading, the donation link is floating around there for you as well. And Ethereum says, thank you with a heart. You are very welcome, my dear. She says, yes, we've been saving for a house first. Ah, okay. That makes sense, because it does. I feel like you got a good one here, and it's nice to see when it's nice to see that type of situation. You don't always get to see things to that effect, but at the end of the day, guys, right? Like we are faced with many choices, and our future lays out before us based on the choices that we make. So, always invest in the things that are truly important to you, because particularly with money, there's a this or that element to what you can do with it, because we spend it and it's gone in that capacity. So anyways, coming up out of that, great question. I will go ahead and take my next question here I'm going to go back to the Winter Wave deck. And here we have a question from Jocelyn Stevens. And Jocelyn says, hi, Cassidy. Do you see any travels for me in the next year, please? Thank you kindly. Excellent question, my dear. Let's take a look if I can see a trip or any travels for you in the next year. Oh no. Okay, so, interesting. Okay, this question, I will say, is perhaps a little more loaded than just wanting to know if you're going to take a trip and it being a relatively superficial thing. It feels like there is something that needs to be overcome in order for you to be able to travel. It's not, the first card I have down here is the Hangman reverse. So it's kind of like, for me to say the advice is, if you want to travel, just go ahead and travel. That is advice that is not necessarily applicable to you, because there are things in the way that are outside of your control that are impacting your ability to travel. It does, to be honest, looking at in the travel space at the beginning of the year looks to be either a rocky start or having to overcome this difficulty. But my final card in the string I actually have is the World card, which does often show me either international travel or travel in some capacity. The card I have at the bottom of the deck here is the Chariot reverse. So to me, it feels a little more like local travel or smaller trips and smaller getaways before this particular situation is overcome. So it might not be next year that you end up having this bigger trip that you're looking for, but I do see travels of some smaller description happening next year for you. So that is what I have for you there, my dear. And thank you so much for your question. I hope that that was helpful. Let me know in the comments, just because we are heading, into December here. Does anybody have plans for 2024? Anyone else have travel plans for 2024? One of the things I did want to bring up here tonight and talk about on the show is, like, we are, like I said, moving into December. We are moving into the final month of the year. And I'm always curious how people choose to use their December time. And Jocelyn says, thank you so much. You are very welcome, my dear. So December, right? Some of us like to use this time as a very reflective month, like going back through the year, revisiting the lessons that we learned, revisiting the experiences that we had, really soaking in and taking some time to really integrate what this year has brought us, and have it in a nice little package before we head into the following year. Some people on the other side of the scale, December is I was going to say the letter before, but the moment before the next year happens. So a lot of folks like to use the month of December for planning for what is my next year going to look like. They basically have this big lead up to New Year's Day. So when any resolutions come in or things of that nature, they are fully prepared to embrace that new year and that new fresh energy. So I'm curious to know if anybody, are you more of a reflective type? Are you more of a planning proactive type for the month of December? Myself, personally, I like to do a bit of both. Whenever I look at, I do my own readings for the following and upcoming year. For me personally, that is my January 1st activity. I really like to, I would say, keep the energy backwards focused, I guess. I do like to have a reviewing sense throughout the month of December, trying to take a bit of a break where possible, who does, but December is always a busy month. So it's a great time. I just want to bring that up here tonight too. So as we're heading into this month, reflecting for yourself, what do you want out of this month? Are you wanting to get a 4-week head start on who you want to be for 2024? Do you want to get a 4-week head start on what your goals are for next year? Do you want to, reflect back? Whatever you want to do, guys, we have got 31 days left of this year. So I hope we can all make the best of it where possible. All right, I'm going to give these cards a nice shuffle here, and I'll take my next question, please. We have Maureen. So Maureen says, struggling with family discord and estrangement. Do you foresee healing? Joyful laughter is my biggest prayer. Don't know if that will happen again. It's all very sad at the moment. Maureen, I'm really sorry to hear that. Challenges and discord within a family it's complicated and it's very deep. So let me take a look with your question. Do I foresee any healing coming up for you and your family at this time? Wow. Okay. I would say, surprisingly, I honestly do, but I can't zoom to the end before I start with the beginning. I've got two very hard-hitting, challenging, difficult energies here. I've got the 9 of Swords and I have the 3 of Swords reversed. So I can really see here, like you said, it's very sad at the moment. There is people not talking. There is a lot of feelings hurt. There's a lot of perhaps anger, angst, worry. The wounds that are, I would say, inflicted and being experienced by everyone involved are very deep and very painful right now. I also have the World card in reverse. So it does feel like almost a level of upheaval that really just impacts the whole family. People are taking sides. People are isolating. Just know for the immediate future here, I feel like it needs to either get worse or stay in this state now before it gets better, because the final 2 cards I have here is I have the Lovers and I have the Chariot. Both have come up upright, coming out of this very difficult and challenging energy. So the holiday season coming up over the next little while, I do think it's going to be a healing process that has very little movement, to be honest with you. And I'm so sorry to say, over the next little bit of time here, but where you've asked if I do see healing, I honestly do in the future for this situation. Once everybody has a time to sort of grieve and integrate what's happened in their own way and heal through that, I feel like there's an independent that needs to happen before we can come together and be as one. So Thank you so much for your question, my dear. And I do hope that was helpful. My heart really goes out to you and your family in this situation. And I hope that, everyone gets the healing they need. Everyone can take the time that they need. And if you're experiencing that within your families as well, I know this time of year can be extra painful and incredibly difficult when there's family things going on at a time of year when families typically may have come together throughout the holiday season. So my heart goes out there to anyone experiencing that, and I hope that we can all find joy and peace in whatever ways we possibly can. So thank you once again for your trust with that question. Okay, guys, I am having a blast here. I don't think I said this earlier, but I do have 11 decks on my table, and I've used a couple of them here so far this evening. This deck is going to make an appearance next. I'll go ahead and take my next question there, please. This is for Monica. Monica, I like your fairy picture. Monica says, do you see me becoming a good hypnotist and future in this? Do you see me becoming a good hypnotist and a future in this? That is a this deck type of question. Great question. Let's take a look at what I can see there. I can see you becoming a good hypnotist, and there is a future in that line of work or that modality for you. There it is right there. Wow. Okay. Amazing. Oh, this is going to be an interesting journey for you, my dear. The first card I have down here is aloneness in reverse. So what I think you'll find, and I would imagine there is a certain degree of study, perhaps testing, things like that, where you need to seek out someone else to help you learn, explore, and perfect your work in this modality. But with this aloneness card in reverse, I feel that there's a very beautiful refining process that happens on your own, where you may feel intuitively like you are deviating from the course program at an earlier state than perhaps what the typical path is. So don't be alarmed or concerned if you start on this path and it feels like there's perhaps resistance there, or it doesn't feel like it's integrating quite right. There's a level of your own individuality that seems to be weaved in quite quickly. The next card I have down here is patience, which is beautiful as well. So I can absolutely see this where you said, is there a future in it? Definitely. Patience and aloneness. I also have the card of silence here as well, following with the card of guidance in reverse. So I feel that this is going to be a very interesting journey for you. It almost feels quite cyclical in nature, where you really get into it and then you get pulled away from it. It feels like you can't put as much time, energy, and effort into it as you maybe would want to if you had it your way. But holy, that is the end of the 2 minutes. I hope that what I had to say there was helpful for you, my dear. I feel like I can really keep going on a lot of these questions here. There's always so much. There's always so much more, and those 2 minutes just seem to shrink in time, like I said, as the show goes on. So thank you for your question. I do hope that was helpful. And guys, I will say the emoji contest is in full force and is having a wonderful time here, lighting up my screen with all of these beautiful emojis. So do continue to send those throughout the show, and the winner will be announced a little bit later on. And I will say again, if you are just joining us, please go ahead and send in your specific question if you'd like a reading. So give me a little bit of context, what it is that you want to know, and I'll dive right into whatever question you have to ask me that is not legal, medical, general, or mediumship related in nature. So that is what I have there. Who am I going to jump to next? I'm going to take this deck. Oh, guys, you just saw, okay, the announcement. It is time for the lightning round. So I know just a moment ago I said, send your emojis. But I will go ahead and say, pause those for just a quick moment here, 3 minutes to be exact, because what is about to happen is the yes-no round. I will answer as many yes-no questions as I have time to in a 3-minute period. Ready, set, go. Let's see those questions. I'd love to see as many questions as possible. How this works has to be a yes-no question. It can't be how will, or I can't provide any details. All I can say is yes, no, and undetermined. And undetermined, there's always more to say, even on the yeses and the nos, but undetermined typically means the needle has really not set or fit into a final shifting point there with that. So you can ask as many yes/no questions as you can type within this period, and I will just keep reading until the timer goes off. So I'm very excited to get started. I can see some great questions rolling in here. And let's take my first question. We have Debbie, will I ever marry? Yes. We have Chelsea, will I be successful with my manuscript? Undetermined. Debbie, will I move in 2024? No. Gemma says, will Adam propose to me in the future? Yes. Love says, will I meet someone I like romantically in 2024? Undetermined. Jenny says, is my daughter missing me? Oh, it's complicated. Undetermined. Amanda says, are me and my wife going to last in this marriage? Yes. Jenny says, will Ophelia pay me some of the money she owes me tomorrow? Undetermined. Debbie says, will I move away in 2024? Undetermined. Cindy says, will I move house? Yes. Gemma says, will I visit New York? Yes. Love says, will I do good with my shop the coming weeks? Like in the upcoming weeks? Yes. Debbie says, will I meet a new love in 2024? Yes. Ethereon Spark says, should I look for work in 2024? Yes. Chelsea says, will I do well in my meeting on December 6th? Ooh, undetermined. Amanda says, do I have new gifts awakening? Yes. Emma says, is Joe going to go on a date with someone else? That's mean said about. Yes. Love says, should I do group healings? Yes. Jenny says, will I ever see Neil again? Yes. Gemma says, will Adam come New Year's Eve in London? Yes. Cindy says, will I buy a new car in 2024? Yes. Will my stepson cause me and my wife to split? No. Love says, will I be able to do the clearing method good? Undetermined. Debbie says, will I be accepted in digital skills online program that starts in January 2024? I'll be accepted in undetermined. Oh, that game is so fun. It is so hard. It is so challenging, but it is fascinating. I have so much more to say on just about every single one of those particular questions. And it's what I really like about that, because honestly, for some questions, a yes, a no really sums it up and completes what I need to say. And other times, it's quite challenging. But I have a blast nevertheless. And Love says, thank you, Cassidy. You are very welcome. Thank you, everybody, for your wonderful questions and for sending, all of the support through your questions here this evening. And guys, if you do get a reading either from myself or from anybody else on the channel here throughout the week or at any point, we do love to see those reviews. So you can go ahead and leave us reviews are on journeyryanlive.com/reviews. And there's also going to be the link floating around in the chat as well. We do like to see, everybody's feedback, how you feel about your readings and what else you'd like to share with us. So I'm going to open the doors back up. Sorry, I'll say that again. www.journeyryanlive.com/reviews. There we go. And yes, the emoji contest game will be back up and running. So if you are watching, go ahead and leave those reviews. Excuse me, leave those emojis. I'm just mixing my wires here tonight. But the emoji contest is on its way. Please send as many emojis as you can before the end of the show, and someone will be the lucky winner, whoever sends the most emojis here tonight. We've got an amazing crew in the back that's keeping track of all this, and I do not envy them because the emoji contest is just, it's so vibrant and there's a lot going on. So I appreciate everybody who is participating. Okay, let's take a look at this particular deck, and I'll go ahead and take my next question, please. This is for Jenny. Jenny Huckless. Jenny says, I asked Ophelia Monday for some of the money she owes me, and she promised me to give me something Friday. Do you see her giving me some money tomorrow, Friday? I worked with her. Thank you for your specific question, for giving me relationally who this person is to you. I know who she is, and I know what we're talking about here. So your final question here is, I see Ophelia giving you some money tomorrow? I believe I answered, did I just answer this one undetermined? I'm getting some things on this particular situation already, but let's take a look. Do I see her giving you some money tomorrow? I mean, I see why I said undetermined because there is a nature about this individual that feels, I would say, quite, it's interesting because it's quite commanding and it feels quite trustworthy, but then it also feels quite flighty. Like perhaps when you lent the money in the first place, it was never a thought in your mind that it would be challenging to get this money back. And then all of a sudden, it was perhaps hard to get a hold of her. She was shifting off dates of meeting. To be honest with you, I feel that there is some arrangement that comes together tomorrow between you and her. And I do feel she'll be good to her word with whatever comes forward tomorrow. But in the actual transfer of money, it's little if there's anything at all. That's what I want to say. It feels a bit more promisey, a bit more, I'll get it to you another time. It feels a bit flighty and shifty. I do feel that you can trust that you'll get the money back eventually, but this nature that I'm seeing on my desk here is a little bit too removed for me to feel confident saying that, you're getting what you thought you were going to get from her. So that is what I am seeing for you there, my dear. And thank you very much for your question. I hope that was helpful, and good luck. For you and whoever else is listening with what's going on. I hope if anyone's in that situation, we can find a way to communicate effectively with whoever it is that we need to work with. And I read this in a negotiating book. And Jenny says, thank you for all your help. You are very welcome, and good luck to you. So in a way to, I would say, not so much turn the table in your favor, but a good thing to keep in mind in negotiations, and when you are trying to get something out of someone, you are trying to get something to move forward. It's not a manipulation tactic, but just to really think about things, even in relationship problems, that if you can look at the thing as you and that person kind of being on the same side, and whatever it is that you're facing as being the challenge, the difficulty, or what it is that you're needing to work against, it can really help shift, I would say, both parties to being a bit more cooperative, which is always good, right? If we're trying to get something to move forward that is a bit stagnant or is hard to do so. So keep that in mind. It may or may not apply to your particular situation, whoever is listening, but I do like that as a tip, with friends, with relationships, love life, whoever it is. Just remember, you're on the same side, fighting this common happening. And that can really help keep things on the straight and narrow, shall we say. All right, where am I going to go from here? I'm going to take this deck, and I'll go ahead and take my next question, please. I'm loving all of these emojis, guys. And do make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. Like I said earlier, there is specific content that only goes on YouTube. There is so much daily content, daily, weekly, horoscopes, card of the day, numerology, angel numbers. Oh my gosh. Check out YouTube. It is absolutely fantastic over there. So we have, I believe this is Rafaela, and I hope I'm saying that correctly, or Rafaela. Hi, I would love to know what is coming for me after ending my relationship with Martin. All right, dear, let's take a look at how I see things looking for you now that you have concluded a relationship. Let's take a look here. All right. Nice. All right. So, part of me wants to really say, well done to you for concluding this particular relationship. The first card I have down is Justice reverse, and the bottom card I have here is the Empress. So to me, it looks like walking away from a situation that you perhaps just knew in your heart that there wasn't a future there. And it was almost like you'd have to give up too much of yourself and too much of what you want in order to maintain that particular relationship. So moving away from that is what I want to say. I almost want to congratulate you in a sense. It seems like it was perhaps not a easy thing to walk away from by any means, but it was in your own best interest towards, I would say, your own goals and your own sense of self-preservation almost. So what I see coming next for you, the next card I have down here is the Seven of Wands in reverse. So not too shortly after this Justice reverse situation I'm seeing here, I do feel like you will have, shall we say, a few interested individuals coming your way. I don't feel like you will have to be lonely long should you choose to get into another relationship. But it feels to me, though, that there's almost, you're looking for a time in between to just really resituate yourself before I see someone else coming in. But I do feel like offers will be coming in quite quickly in terms of new potential suitors or people who are interested in starting something up with you. But what I see here at kind of as a sense of guidance and advice is to take whatever time it is that you need to, as a resituate yourself before getting involved in another connection. So that is what I've got for you there, my dear, and I do hope that was helpful. And I wish you really all the best as you transition out of that connection into, I would say, what looks like either a deeper connection with yourself. And for everybody out there, you don't have to leave a relationship to reconnect with yourself. In some cases, and as we just saw there, it is either best and or necessary to have, I would say, either a clean break or to walk away from something that is really holding you back, or from something that in your heart has no future to. But in many ways as well, whatever it is that you're going through in connections with other people, you can still find yourself. You don't have to necessarily walk away from something. And Rafaela says, thank you so much. It resonates a lot. Oh, thank you very much for that feedback. I do really appreciate it. And yeah, good luck to you. It seems you'll have quite a sense of choice. We'll leave it at that. Anyways, great questions tonight, guys. Let's keep them rolling. And the review link is floating around in there. So if you would like to leave a review, it does really help support our show. You can do so at www.journeyryanlive.com/reviews. For, like I said, myself or anybody else here on the platform, if you've got a reading with any of our other readers at any point this week or before that, we're here all the time. So even if you got a reading a while back and you want to leave some feedback, it's always nice to see. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and take my next question here. These emojis are a blast. Thank you, everyone, for all of this beautiful emoji support. We have Chelsea. Chelsea says, hey, I'm planning a new career. How do you think it'll go for me? All right, Chelsea. That's exciting. I'm planning a new career, and how do I think it will go for you? Let's take a look. That's the card there. Ah, all right. Fascinating. Okay. Where you're saying you're planning, I feel like this one is sort of, I would say, a matter of time before it takes place. It seems more like a when as opposed to an if, switching into a new career role. So the first card I have down here is traveling. So this can apply, like I say, very literally to your work situation where you either need to move or travel for what it is that you're about to do next. But the other thing here is traveling is it's typically not shifting within the same sector or finding a career that is, I would say, something you've done before. But traveling, it's like, all right, there was what I did here and almost a clean break to where I'm going for this next portion of my traveling life. The next question I have down here is sharing in reverse. So I want to say to you, For starters, don't let people know what you're thinking and where you want to go before you make the moves you want to make. I'm not necessarily seeing sabotage or anything, but it does feel like it will be more powerful for you to keep some of your plans to yourself. I do feel like it's going to be quite successful. I have the card of change here, which is the Wheel of Fortune upright, as well as the card of projection. So I think it will be very important for the people that you know, who is in this industry, who you learn from. There's interconnections that I see with others that is going to play a vital role with how successful you'll be in this next venture. And she says, oh, yes, yes, from sciences to arts. Yeah, there we go. A very serious departure. I love that. So that's what I'm seeing for you there, my dear. And congratulations. It seems, yeah, like it's been bubbling up for a while. Like I said, it's not a matter of if, it was a matter of. Thank you so much for your question, my dear, and I hope that that was helpful. Good luck to you as you make that transition. That's going to be a good time. All right, let's take a look at who we have next. Oh, guys, okay. Exciting news, breaking news, exciting announcement. Love, after a long, tough, close battle, has won our emoji contest. So congratulations to Love, and thank you so much, everyone, for all of the beautiful emojis and for all of the support I have seen flying across my screen here tonight. Love, like Journey had said there, it was a hard battle. The emojis coming through here tonight were just amazing. So the fact that you won, your dedication is certainly appreciated. So congratulations on that. If you have, Love, you have won this one before, but I've got, Love says, yeah, thank you, my psychic connection. The comment cracks me up. Yes, me as well. So Love, my dear, if you have any a particular question that you would like this reading to apply to or an area of life, I'm certainly happy to do so. But as I mentioned before, this is the only time that I will go ahead and do a general read on this channel. If there is not a particular question or area of life that you want this to apply to. So I have got, what is the name of this deck? I don't have a clue. It's quite lovely. It's got shiny edges, very pointy corners. It's a great deck. So Love says regarding career, please. All right. So career message for Love. What do we have for Love at this time? Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. Interesting. Let me get just one more down here. This guy. Who is this? All right. All right. There seems to be, I got another card because I wanted to confirm something I was kind of seeing here. First card down I have is called Reminder, and it says don't forget on it. So the second card down, which is I wanted to confirm with it, it has a card of what is called Denial, and it is in reverse. So Reminder, Denial, don't forget. The initial message I have for you is there's either some calling or some promise you made to yourself. It doesn't necessarily need to be consciously all the way. But with that card of Denial, it's like, don't forget what really matters to you. And there's a level of denial in terms of how important a particular line of work would be or what it takes to be there. When I see that card of Denial in reverse, it's like, are you fooling yourself? And with this Reminder card, it's like, are you fooling yourself into not really seeing a particular, almost like it feels like an energetic announcement pulling you or pushing you into a particular area of your life. So don't not listen to what you are picking up or what you are, I would say it almost feels like actively but subconsciously suppressing about what your next move should be. The card I have next is Chaos in reverse, which to me really feels as though in the career space, it does need some sort of shakeup. And with those other two cards being there, it's almost perhaps a fear of making drastic changes. Love says, correct. I start, then at times my confidence goes bipolar. Yeah, so with that Reminder card, really don't forget why you started. That's a cliche at this point. But genuinely, don't forget what it was that brought you to that space, and try not to be your own thing that takes you off the track of where you're meant to be going next. So like I said, with this Chaos card reverse, it's sort of like with that Denial, there is an impending shakeup necessary for you to move forward into your career, because the last card I have down here is movement. And I have this beautiful horse running. What is he running at? Oh, let's just water in the background. It's an absolutely lovely card. So it does feel to me like there is I would say an impending shakeup or a necessary shakeup that is required for you before you can experience this movement in your career and what will be next. As long as you can get past the point where it's not you standing in your own way, or trying to suppress how you really feel, or trying to ignore what you know is important to you and where you really should be going. So that's what I've got there for you, my dear, in terms of a career message. Don't be afraid of drastic change if drastic change is needed. Anybody out there, keep that in the back of your mind as well. Sometimes things really need to look entirely different from how they've ever looked for us to get where we want to go. My final card here is movement. So I will say, predictive wise, it does look like this is all about to take place with whenever you allow yourself to, I would say, put your foot on the gas, but more so take your foot off of the brake. I hope that didn't sound all the way too cheesy and too corny for you, my dear, but that is what I can see for you there in terms of career. So thank you so much for all of your beautiful emojis here tonight, and congratulations again for winning the emoji contest. That is always such a fun game, and it lights my entire screen up with beautiful emojis. So always happy to see that. And yes, congratulations again. Love says, awesome reading and helpful. Thank you, Miss Cassidy the Cardslinger. Oh, well, thank you very much, my dear, and thank you for your feedback. I'm very glad to hear that was helpful. All right, let's go ahead, and I've got a bit more time here, folks. She said I was going to write Cardslinger. You know, I like Cardslinger. Cassidy the Cardslinger. You know, I'm getting like visuals. When I was a kid, I used to like love being on the swings. At one point, I was Cassidy. I'm not going to say the swinger because that has very different connotations. We are the late night show. I hope y'all are enjoying. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and take my next question, please. All right. Your last name, I believe, is Joshi. I'm not sure how to pronounce your first name, my dear, so I will just call you S. S says, I had a breakup. Can I have a reunion or start a new journey to help me heal my relationship? So I recently broke up. Can you have a reunion in that connection, or should you be starting on a new journey to heal? Let's take a look for you, my dear. Okay. All right. Connection. Okay, well, fascinating. Whether or not you feel this particular way, it does seem that a rekindling or a reconnection into your past relationship the door is open to that. It doesn't feel like at this moment in time. The central card I have here is the Hermit reverse. So there is a period that you're experiencing of solidarity, being single right now, that is here to kind of stay in this moment. But in terms of where you should be moving forward, what I find very interesting is I have the Fool card reverse in terms of moving forward and finding someone new, and I have the Lover's card when I've asked about rekindling and reconnecting with the relationship that you were previously in, where honestly is what I want to say, that it really falls back to you in terms of what you want. Like I said, right now with that Nine of Wands, it feels that the connection that just ended, the door probably feels quite closed right now. But know in your heart that if what you want is who you just ended things with, or who things ended with, I can see that door will still remain open. Or there will be, I would say, almost a more, and in its own way, a more difficult path of moving on to someone else. But then I would say finding someone who, I would say, fits the places or has what the last connection was missing. So just to pass that back to you, my dear, the choice is really yours, what it is that you want. Do you want someone new, or do you want that person? And that is what I've got for you there, my dear. So thank you very much for your question. And I certainly wish you good luck. And readings like that are quite interesting because, you know, in many ways, we always have, well, not in many ways, but we do always have a choice. We always can make moves. We can choose to go one path or another, do one thing or the other thing. So we always have a certain level of control over what happens to us. But it's I would would say kind of rare, but interesting to see in readings where I'm sort of asking the progression of something, and it just pushes it right back to the queer energy who's asking the question, like, what do you want? Because both options are available to you. That's also why it can be very helpful to look at different paths when we're asking about where should we go or what should we do. Should questions, you know, we talked about that on my show before. I know Energy's brought that up as well. I don't know that I love the should dynamic because I'm not out here to preach where you should go, but I do like to look at how things will go in certain, if you take path A or path B and then allow everyone else to make their own choices where they want to go. I'm sorry, I've still got like giggles in my cheeks about the swinger thing. Yeah, not swing sets. I'm going to go ahead and take my last question of the evening. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. Let's take a look at who we have next. So here we have Jenny. Hi, Jenny. Jenny says, hey, Cassidy, is my daughter going to contact me for Christmas? All right, Jenny, let's take a look at what's going on there. Is your daughter going to contact me for Christmas? Let me see. Jenny's daughter contacting her for Christmas. Okay, there we are. All right, Jenny. This relationship and this connection certainly feels very strained. There's a lot of hurt I'm looking at from your daughter's side. I've got the Three of Swords upright as my first card down here, and it does feel like there is a reality that she's facing about your relationship where it would be an incredibly painful thought to reach out. She's still working through very difficult and challenging emotions surrounding the relationship that you have with her. The next card here I have down is the Three of Wands. So it feels like, I would say there's still a disconnect here. I feel like you're thinking about each other, but in terms of will she reach out, that feels a little more receptive, I'll say. It feels a little bit more like if you are the one to reach out to her, she would at least hear it, perhaps not respond right away. I feel like I've got this Queen of Swords reversed. It feels as though she's not in a place where she feels like she can reach out, or that she is totally ready to open that door again, because there's still a lot of hurt going on there. So I don't necessarily see her being the one to reach out before Christmas, but I think she would at least hear you if you reached out to her. So that is what I've got for you there, my dear. And thank you very much for your trust with that question. And I really wish you good luck with that situation. All right, guys. Well, guys, we have a donation for a quick read. Oh, thank you very much. This is Amanda. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for your donation. And I'm very excited to get a chance to read for you here this evening. Yay. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Let's add another question on here. Which deck? Well, let's see. I can ask the question here. So we have, what do I need to do to help my gifts open and grow more? All right, Amanda. Thank you for this lovely question, for your lovely donation. Breaking news. All right. What do I need to help my gifts open and grow more? Let's take a look for you, Amanda. It's a great question. Let's see what the cards have to say. All right. Okay. All right. Very cool. Oh, I'm gonna lots to say here. I'm so glad that I've got a bit more time with you, my dear. Whoa. Okay, I have all upright cards, all very powerful cards. Let's go ahead and switch decks here. So originally, though, the first card I have down here is postponement. We have a picture of a woman kind of looking out over. It's colored, but I don't think it's showing in my camera very well. The original thing I have, there is something that you need to return to that you had, I would say, she says, yay. There's something you need to return to that you have tried on your spiritual path previously that you didn't walk away from to end or to never pick up again. But with this postponement card, it feels very much so like you explored something a little bit and then it basically fell into a space of postponement that is now requiring you to go back and take a look at it again. just as a nugget here, I don't know if you read cards, but I think that cards would be a good fit for you. But with that postponement card, the first message I have is go back and revisit something that you didn't get a chance to fully explore. The next card I have down here is a card of participation, and it's also upright. So to me, what I'm seeing there initially is that the support and working collaboratively with other people could certainly be helpful to helping you explore your gifts. I have collaboration and I have experiencing. So while typically, you know, I think getting a mentor or learning from someone is always a good road, these particular cards kind of point more to being, I would say, more either discussion groups, getting involved with other peers or other people who are on a similar journey as you, and sharing collaboratively in that sort of space. She says, yeah, I started as a teen and just recently went back to learning them. Fabulous. So definitely take out those cards, my dear. I like the look of that. The card here I have also is experiencing. So one of the ways that you'll find that your gifts will come forward more profoundly is through, I would say, like almost the practice of mindfulness, but not, I would say, what is packaged and sold as mindfulness, but experiencing, like trying to be very in tune and very aware of your surroundings and what it is that you're spending your time doing. I feel like there's an element of presence that will, when you situate yourself into the present moment, and this can be like through meditation. I have the card of inner voice here as well. So I do think meditation is going to be something very useful for you, and any other ways that you, I would say, actively work to open your third eye type of work. But with this experiencing card, it's like, it's calling for, I will say, daily use or daily attention from you. That in these particular moments, it feels almost like in these mundane times of the day where you're just rechecking in with yourself and reevaluating where you are. I think you will have, I will say, intuitive downloads in those particular moments. Next couple cards that I have here is kind of interesting as well. I have the card of change and I have a card of the Fool. So I don't know, for starters though, if a trip or any sort of travel would be useful, not so much useful, but would be possible. She says, yes, meditation, difficult, learned, but learned can be for Virgos. Yes, you may find, which is quite interesting there as well with that experiencing card, tapping into, I would say, different types of movement meditations, things like yoga, things like that, where you are actively engaging more than just your mind, but other physical areas with that experiencing of the body. Going back to the travel thing, I don't know necessarily if a travel or a trip could be possible necessarily in your future, but you've asked for a guidance and advice, at least a change of scenery or a change in routine, where you're, like I said, actively weaving this in on a daily basis. If you set up a space in your house that is dedicated to this, or you are, stopping by a park or spending some time outside. There's quite a few cards that I have here that point to, I would say, experiencing, but also nature and tapping into the present moment through your connections with the outdoors, being outside particularly. So I'm going to get one more card here for you, my dear, to wrap this one up and take a look at what I can say here. So the first card down, it says first light. It says beginning a new cycle. She said, I'm needing that for sure. So you've probably already felt this within yourself, and it's kind of neat because it's falling into the season of winter. It feels like your gifts, your abilities are shifting and are almost ramping up while the world is quieting down. So first light, you're probably, I'll say, well on the path to already beginning this cycle of going deeper with your intuitive gifts, my dear. So that is what I have for you. And thank you very much for your donation, Amanda. I hope that was helpful, and good luck to you. I had all very powerful, all upright cards. That was quite neat to see and does not happen all that often. So stay focused on what it is that you're wanting to achieve, and good luck to you, my dear. So guys, that is the end of the show. This was wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in and for being here tonight. I will be back next week at the same time. So it's 7 p.m. PST, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And the next show is going to be on Monday. So definitely check that out. If you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, you can keep in touch with all of our content and all of the wonderful things that we have going on. And like I said, we've got shows, multiple shows every day, Monday through Thursday, and for all of your metaphysical needs and for all of your reading inquiries, we are here for you. So guys, enjoy the rest of your evening and have have a happy start to the month of December. Decide what you want to do for this particular month and make the end of 2023 wonderful in any way that you can. Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your night, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.